Hello, my amazing friend. Welcome to this journey of learning, feeling, and discovering. Not just the English language, but a story that has moved millions. Today, you will walk through time, through hope, through fire and freedom. You will step into the soul of a city that has seen the best and the worst, and still shines. This is not just a lesson. This is a living, breathing story, the story of New York City. Before there were buildings, before there was noise, before the sky was pierced by glass towers, there was only silence. The land was green, the water wide, the air pure. It was a quiet island known as Mannahatta, the island of many hills, and it belonged to the Lenape people. They lived in harmony with nature, hunting deer in the forests, fishing in the rivers, walking barefoot on land untouched by war, money, or greed. They didn't know the word city, but they knew the word home. Then came a ship, a wooden vessel gliding slowly into the river, carrying dreams of trade and conquest. It was 1609. A Dutch explorer named Henry Hudson arrived while searching for a passage to Asia. What he found instead was a natural harbor so deep and peaceful. It looked like a miracle. It was not Asia, but it was something more. A new beginning. And the world would never be the same again. By 1624, Dutch settlers came and built a small town. They named it New Amsterdam. It wasn't big. It wasn't grand, but it was real. Wooden homes stood beside dirt roads. Smoke curled from chimneys. People traded goods, furs, food, tools. It was a town of work and of hope. And yet, it was not built on empty land. It was built on Lenape land, land taken piece by piece, forever changed. The city was growing, and the past was fading. In 1664, British warships arrived. Without firing a single shot, they took control and renamed the city New York in honor of the Duke of York. The Dutch were gone. But the dream, the deep, restless dream, stayed. The city became more than a colony. It became a magnet, a fire, a promise. Throughout the 1700s, New York grew in size and power. Ships filled the harbor, markets filled the streets. People came from different lands, bringing skills, cultures, languages, and also chains. Enslaved Africans were brought in by force, their freedom stripped, their lives traded. Their sweat built the walls of the city. Their pain shaped its foundations. This part of the story hurts, but it must be told. Because without truth, there is no real history. As the 18th century marched forward, whispers of rebellion began to rise. The people were tired of British taxes, tired of rules they never chose, tired of being told what they were allowed to be. Then came 1776, the year everything changed. The Declaration of Independence was signed. A revolution had begun. New York burned. Battles raged in the streets. Redcoats marched. Americans fought back. The city became a battlefield of freedom. And when the war ended, the country needed a leader. On April 30th, 1789, in the heart of New York City, George Washington stood on the balcony of Federal Hall. He raised his right hand and became the first president of the United States. Imagine the feeling in the air, the pride, the hope, the beginning of something new. New York was no longer just a city. It was the first capital of a free nation. In the early 1800s, the city was changing fast. Roads were laid, buildings rose. In 1825, the Erie Canal opened, connecting New York to the Great Lakes and the world. The city exploded with trade. Goods flowed in, money flowed in, and so did people. Millions of immigrants began arriving. They came by ship. They came by faith. They came with nothing but a name, a bag, and a dream. Irish families escaping hunger, Italians chasing work, Jews fleeing violence, Germans seeking peace. They poured into Ellis Island, which opened in 1892. Eyes wide, hearts trembling. They had survived the ocean. Now they faced a new world. Standing in the harbor was a gift from France, the Statue of Liberty. A woman made of copper holding a torch to the sky, her face strong, her message clear. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. She was not just a statue. She was a promise. And the city welcomed them, not always kindly, but always openly. They lived in small apartments. They worked long hours in factories. They spoke strange languages. They faced insults. But still, they stayed. Because New York gave them something they had never had: a chance. The skyline began to rise. First came the Flatiron Building in 1902. Then the Woolworth Building. Then, in 1931, the Empire State Building, the tallest in the world. These were more than buildings. They were symbols of strength, of ambition, of rising above. But then, in 1929, the world fell. The stock market crashed, banks closed, families lost everything. The Great Depression hit New York hard. Lines of hungry people stretched around blocks. Children went without shoes. Hope seemed distant. And yet, art was made, jazz was played, writers wrote, builders built. Even in pain, the city breathed. Then came World War II. New Yorkers went to war. Women took jobs in factories. The city became a center for the fight. When the war ended, in 1945, something remarkable happened. The world looked to New York for peace. The United Nations was born, right here in the city, to bring countries together. New York became not just America's city, but the world's. The 1950s brought music, style, and soul. Harlem was alive with jazz. Broadway filled with lights. The Yankees ruled baseball. The subway roared beneath the streets. Skyscrapers kissed the sky. The city was electric. But not all was easy. The 1960s and 70s brought struggle. Civil rights protests, riots, blackouts, crime, drugs, poverty. The city nearly went bankrupt in 1975. The lights almost went out. Forever. But New York doesn't give up. Artists painted on walls. Rappers rhymed in the Bronx. Dancers spun on cardboard floors. From the pain came culture. And through it all, the city moved forward. By the 1980s and 90s, Wall Street was booming. Money flowed like water. Skyscrapers reached higher. The Twin Towers stood proud. But underneath the gold was grit, homelessness, inequality, tension. Yet again, the city held on. Then came the day the world stopped. September 11th, 2001. A morning like any other. But at 8:46 a.m., a plane struck the North Tower of the World Trade Center. Then another. Fire, smoke, collapse, screams, sirens. Thousands died. The skyline was broken. The heart of the city was shattered. But in that smoke, heroes rose, firefighters, police officers, nurses, strangers. They ran toward danger. They held each other. They cried together. They rebuilt together. And they never forgot. A new tower rose. One World Trade Center. Taller, stronger. A symbol of defiance. A tribute to the fallen. A promise to the world. In the years that followed, New York faced many challenges. Storms like Hurricane Sandy in 2012, economic crashes, terror threats, and then the pandemic. Streets once full became empty. Silence returned to the island, but not for long. New York heals. It always heals. Today, New York City is home to over 8 million people. It speaks more than 180 languages. It prays in every religion. It dances every dance. It tells every story. From Brooklyn to the Bronx, from Queens to Harlem, from Staten Island to Manhattan. Every block is a world, every person a journey. What is New York, really? Is it a city, a monument, a dream? It is movement. It is noise. It is the feeling that anything, absolutely anything, is possible. It is a writer in a cafe, a musician in the subway, a chef in a tiny kitchen, a child looking up at the sky whispering, "Someday I'll make it." New York is not perfect. It never was. But it's real, honest, raw, alive. It teaches you, it tests you, it changes you. And now you have walked through its past. You have seen its pain. You have felt its power. And as you learn English, remember, language is not just words. It is culture. It is history. It is soul. You now carry the story of New York inside you, its spirit, its strength, its song. And that is the most beautiful part of learning.